Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddham, buddham, buddham vande. Dhammam, dhammam, dhammam vande. Sangham, sangham, sangham vande. Buddham, dhammam, sangham vande. Samanta cakkavadesu atra gacchantu devata saddhammang munirajassa sunanto sagga mokkadam Dhammasavana kālo ayam badanta Dhammasavana kālo ayam badanta Dhammasavana kālo ayam badanta Namo tansa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Attham hi jātam hi sukha sahaya tunti sukaya itari tarena punyang sukhang jīvita sankayam hi sabbassa dukkhansa sukhang pahanam. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today I am going to discuss one of the verses in Dhammapada. You know the Dhammapada? Dhammapada is one of the book which consists in Khuddaka Nikaya in Tripitaka. It is a selection of stanzas. This is the book that there are more than 400 stanzas in this book. Every stanza is very meaningful. We can get a very clear understanding which is beneficial to our life. Every stanza have a very deep meaning and also a very simple meaning too. According to our intelligence, we can go to the deeper level in these stanzas. Today I have selected one of the stanzas from this book. First of all, I would like to recite that stanza again. I think all of us can recite together. Attham hi jātam hi sukha sahaya tunti sukaya itari tarena punyang sukhang jīvita sankayam hi sabbassa dukkhansa sukhang pahanam attham hi jātam hi sukha sahaya tutti sukhaya itari tarena punyang sukhang jīvita sankayam hi sabbassa dukkhansa sukhang pahanam. There are four things here that Buddha explains, four good things in our life in this stanza. First, Buddha says, Athammi Jathammi Sukha Sahaya. Good are friends when need arises. If we have some needs, then friends are beneficial for our life. If we have to do something, if we have good friends, they help us. Therefore, it is very important having good friends in our life. The next one, and tutte sukhaya itare tharena. Good is contentment with just what one already has. If we have something that if we can satisfy with those things that already we have, actually this is the satisfaction in our life. But people always think their future. They always wish, may I have a better tomorrow. That tomorrow never comes. They always wish, may my tomorrow be better than today. Always they think like that. But our past has ceased. We have only a memory in our past. Our past is a memory, and also our future is a dream. Actually, we have only the present moment. If we can succeed this present moment, it means our entire life is successful. The next one, Punya Sukham Jivita Sankyamhi. Buddha says here, good is merit when life is at the end. End of our life, merits that we have acquired are useful. Finally, Buddha says, Sabbassa dukkassa sukham pahanam. Good is the abandoning of all suffering. Good is cessation from suffering. If we can cease suffering, that is the real success, real goodness in our life. This is the very simple meaning of this stanza. But gradually we can go to the deeper level. Although it is very simple in the first level, in primary level, but it can be deepened. First, we should understand the importance of having friends. What are the qualities that a friend should have, as you think? Yes, honesty is one of the qualities that friends should have. Honesty, good. Anything else that you think? Yes, kindness. Kindness. That is also very important. What are the qualities that you see in a friend? Generosity. Yes, that is also very important. Buddha says, practicing generosity is the one of the ways to win the friends. Tadam mithani gantati. If we are generous, we have a lot of friends. Sometimes we have bad friends too when we are generous. And anything else that you think, the qualities that a good friend should have? Yes, very, very important. Intelligence. Intelligence is very important. Sometimes we can find some friends who are generous, who are kind, who are compassionate. But sometimes, even though they have these qualities, sometimes gratitude too. But we think finally they are not honest. Then we leave those friends because they have no honesty. But intelligence is the best quality a friend should have. I would like to say you a very simple story. There was a king who had a monkey pet. That monkey was so faithful to his master, the king. Always monkey took care of his master. When someone is coming to disturb that king, then the monkey was struggling with that person. One day, the king was sleeping. At that moment, a fly, you know fly? Yes. Fly was disturbing the king. And the fly is flying here and there. And again, the monkey tried to remove this fly, but finally he couldn't do it. Then finally that fly was on the neck of the king. The monkey was so angry. Then he took the sword of the king and he hit the fly. The fly went and king also went to the heaven. And actually he has all qualities. He had all these qualities, but he is not intelligent. That is the thing. Intelligence is very, very important. When we meet a person, when we find a person, when we find the qualities of a person, therefore intelligence is very, very important. And not only just regular intelligence, but according to Buddhism, they should know, save their friends from suffering. When someone has some mental problems, they should have good understanding how they help their friends to overcome their suffering. That is the most important thing. Sometimes we have some friends who help us materially or physically, but they can't help us when we are stressed, when we have mental problems. In this situation, Buddhism says, having good friends who can guide us to overcome our suffering is more important. However, when we associate friends in the society, we also should have some qualities. Especially, before we find some qualities of our friends, we show our inner qualities. That is very important. Sometimes we don't offer something to them until they offer something to us. But we should start. Then we should be generous. And also we should be kind. And we should be honest. And we also should be intelligent. If we are not intelligent, we can't identify, we can't recognize the good friends, even though we meet them. Therefore, when we are going to find a good friend, we also should have enough qualities with intelligence. That is also very important. In this situation, Buddha says, Attamhi jatamhi sukha sahaya. Good are friends when need arises. That is the first one. The next one, Buddha says, Tutti sukhaya itari tharena. Good is contentment or satisfactoriness with just what one has. We always earn something day by day, but we should have a satisfactoriness with that already we have. If we think our satisfactoriness will be in future, actually that future never comes. In this situation, we always try to be happy in this moment or today. When we get up early morning, we should think, this is the best day that I have. If we can think every day like that, every day is good and we can succeed every day. But if we think that tomorrow is better than today, that tomorrow never comes. Here, the other thing, according to Buddhist perspective, satisfactoriness depends on how far we have understood mindfulness. Mindfulness is the foundation of living with satisfactoriness. We should be aware of our body and mind. What happens to my body? What happens to my mind? We usually focus on outside, but Buddhism advises us to look at inside. When we experience something through our senses, all people look at outside, but we Buddha's disciples, we look at inside when we look at something. That is the difference of Buddhism. And however, here Buddha says, having satisfactoriness, living in the present moment is very important. That is also one of the good things in our life. The third one, Buddha says, Punyang Sukham Jivita Sankyamhi, end of our life. If we have acquired a lot of meritorious thoughts in our mind, then we can be happy. Not only in end of our life, but according to Buddhism, practicing more merits means practicing more happiness. Merit, synonyms, happiness. What are the merits that we can practice? According to Buddha's message, there are 3 meritorious deeds that we can do in our day-to-day life. What are the 3 meritorious deeds? Dana, Sila, Bhavana. Generosity, morality, and meditation. When we practice generosity, our mind is so pure and calm. We are so generous. We always are ready to offer something to others, especially among Buddhist people. Without giving something to others, they don't eat anything. It is one of our traditions. Here in the Western society, it is difficult to practice sometimes. But however, when we are with Asian people, we usually practice this one. Here also, there are some generous people, they practice this quality. That is very important. Buddha says, if you know the results of practicing generosity, like me, Buddha says, you never eat something without offering something to others. Even though you are eating the final food that you are eating. That is very important. And generosity is the start of our spiritual journey. First, we can practice it at home. Then we can practice it among our relatives. Then we can practice it among our friends. Finally, we should practice generosity among the people who are our enemies as much as we can. That is the attitude of Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva means who are practicing qualities for the enlightenment. That is the highest quality. Practicing generosity is one of the meritorious deeds that we can practice in our day-to-day life. The second one is morality or virtue. Discipline our speech and behavior. Why do we have a good discipline in our speech and behavior? If we speak something as bad words, then we will have bad results in this life, not hereafter. And also if we have misbehavior in our life, we can see the results in this life, not hereafter. That is why we should have good discipline. If your relative or friend has misbehavior, you have no honor to him. You don't respect him because of misbehavior. Like that. If you also have some kind of misbehaviors, then your friends, your relatives don't respect you. Even though we were born alone in the world, even though we die alone, we should live in the society with many people. When we live in the society with many people, respect is one of the things we always wish. Without this respect, it is difficult to live among the people in the society. In this situation, having a good discipline in our speech and behavior is very important. Before we practice our behavior, our physical discipline, according to the Eightfold Path, we should have Samma Vacha, good discipline in our speech. The reason is we are mostly blamed because of our misuse of our speech, bad words. In this situation, it is very important having a good discipline in our speech and behavior. The third one, meditation. Meditation is the mental culture. Mind is the main reason that decides our happiness or suffering. If we can purify our mind from negative thoughts, it means we are on the path of happiness. If our mind is polluted with negative thoughts, such as desire, anger, and delusion, actually we have no inner peace even though we are well educated, even though we are very rich, even though we have a lot of friends. That is why we should take care of our mind. We usually take care of everything, physical things in outside, but we usually don't care of our mind. Buddhism explains how we take care of our mind. If we can take care of our mind, it means we can take care of everything. We can win a lot of enemies in the battlefield. It is not difficult. Buddha says, the very difficult thing that we can win is our mind. If we can win our mind from negative thoughts, it is better than winning 1,000 of enemies in the battlefield. Therefore, Buddhism always emphasizes the importance of cultivating our mind. Not only Buddhists, but a lot of people in the current society, they try to purify their mind using some techniques such as practicing loving kindness, practicing mindfulness. A lot of people in the society in many levels, they try to overcome their stress by practicing loving kindness and mindfulness. But the special thing in Buddhism, that Buddhism goes to the deeper level with these doctrines. If we can listen to Buddha's message, we are so fortunate. We can know the real way, the perfect way that explains us to eradicate our negative thoughts, and we can achieve the real happiness for the everlasting peace of mind. In this situation, doing merits are very important. And here it is one of things is that usually some people think that merits are beneficial to my next life. That is why some people practice good deeds. Especially when they are going to old age, they try to start their meritorious journey. But Buddhism doesn't say like that. Whenever we practice merits, actually we can see the results. The Buddha's message is visible results, immediately effective. When you are generous, you can see the results. And also, when you think your good activities that you have done in the name of merits, then you can be happy. When you think your good deeds that you have done in your life, whenever you think it, you are so happy. That happiness is the purpose of everyone. We do everything in the name of happiness. As much as we can develop good deeds as merits, it means we can improve our inner peace. If we have a lot of things that we have done in the name of happiness, we always think those activities, then we have no time to criticize politics, other people, we have no time. We have no space in our mind for negative thoughts, because always we think our good activities that we do regularly. That is why we should practice good deeds, meritorious deeds in our life. The fourth one, the final one that Buddha says, Sabbassa dukkassa sukham pahanam. Buddha says here the most important thing. Good is the abandoning of all suffering. Or good is the cessation from suffering. What is the suffering that Buddhism analyzes? How suffering arises? Whenever we are unhappy, whenever we are suffering, what is the nature of our mind? Whenever we are unhappy, be sure at that time we are in the past experience, or we are in a future experience. Not only we are in the past or future, but we don't know now my mind is fixed in past or future. That's the reason we are suffering. On the other side, when we experience something at the present moment, sometimes we are suffering in the present moment. When somebody is blaming us, we are unhappy, we are crying, we are struggling inside. What is the reason? When we experience something through our senses, we think there is something outside. There are some people outside. And also outside people bring me suffering and happiness. But when we look at something, we have only the shadow or color. When we listen to something, we have only the sound. When we recognize those experiences that we receive through our senses, that experience has ceased. We create it inside. When you identify something, when you recognize my voice, you don't recognize my voice through your ear consciousness. You recognize my words through your mind consciousness. Then it has gone several steps. But unfortunately, because of our ignorance, we think at the present moment when we experience something, I experience the present real experience. Actually, through our five senses, we can't experience the present experience. We usually experience through our mind. When we experience something, actually the first experience that we receive through our five senses has ceased. We have no present experience through our five senses. We have only the present experience through our mind. But these senses are so fast. Therefore, we think I experience the present incident. As soon as we recognize something, we recognize according to our mental condition. Although we hear something, we recognize according to our mental condition, according to our ignorance, karma, and craving. That is why, when you see this statue of the Buddha, you are present. When somebody look at this statue, he is neutral. When somebody who hates the Buddha, when he looks at this statue, he may get angry. Someone is happy, someone is unhappy, somebody is neutral. If that external object brings you the experience, those three persons should be in the same way. But they are different. We create emotions, mental formations, according to our ignorance. If we can develop our mind with mindfulness and reflecting on impermanence, when we see something, if we want to see it positively, we can be happy. If we want to see it negatively, we can think like that. And also if we want to see it neutrally, we can do it. If we can completely control our mind. So that is explained in some discourses. There is one special discourse in Majjhima Nikaya, Indriya Bhavana Sutta. The discourse of discipline of senses. If we can completely control our mind, when we look at this flower, we can be happy. If we want to look at it as impurity, we can see it like that. If we want to look at it as four fundamental elements, earth, water, fire, wind, then we are neutral. And we create happiness or suffering according to our mental formations, like ignorance, craving, like that. Here, Buddha says, the most important thing, the best thing in our life is cessation from suffering. First, we discussed how suffering arises. Suffering arises because of no mindfulness and no intelligence about impermanence. When we remember something, if we are mindful, we are aware of my mind that now I am reading my mind, not the real situation. For example, when you think a person who has passed away, if you cry, it means you live in the past experience. Because we think there is a permanent person who comes continuously. But when we think with mindfulness, in our spiritual world, we have no permanent persons or things. Like, we have no permanent shadows, reflections in our mirror. The reflection arises when we go to the mirror. But we have no problem. We go to the mirror again and again. Even though our shadow or reflection doesn't remain in the mirror, we go again and again to the mirror. We get the benefits from the mirror. The Arahanta sees the world like that. He has no ready-made things. People, among the ordinary people, they have ready-made things. But in the ultimate truth, we have no ready-made things. We always create the things according to our present mental condition. For example, now you look at me, you may be happy. After that, if I blamed you, then you look at me with anger. In this situation, we have no permanent mental conditions. When you think your brother, if you think your brother's good qualities, you are happy. If you think your brother's misbehaviors, you are unhappy. If you think now your brother is at the hospital with a serious illness, then you are so compassionate. At the same time, not sometime, suddenly our mind changes. That is why we have no permanent mental condition. We create every moment of our mind according to the present situation. If we have this understanding, we always take care of our mind, practicing mindfulness and reflecting on impermanence. Every moment, we should be aware of our physical body and mind. What happens to my body? What happens to my mind? What happens to my feelings? What happens to my mental formations? Then we see only the impermanence. Then, if we have this understanding completely, then we are like the people who go to the mirror. When you think you are Malli, brother, then you go to a mirror. When you look at this flower, you go to another mirror. When you read this handout, you go to another mirror. We have only one mirror once. These 6 senses are 6 mirrors. And when one mirror acts, the other 5 mirrors are not. But these 6 senses are so fast, therefore we think those 6 senses work together, but they can't work together. They are so fast. However, Buddha says the path of liberation. First of all, we should recognize how suffering arises. Suffering arises because of our ignorance. What is the ignorance? We think there is something which is permanent in past. And also we think there is something outside that brings me happiness and suffering. But nobody can bring us suffering or happiness. Suffering or happiness arises according to our present mental condition. And first of all, we should understand this knowledge with Suttamaya Panya, the wisdom of listening. That is the very first step. The listening of, the wisdom of listening. That is the very first step. It's like knowing the map before we go to a journey that never we have gone. That is the first step, Suttamaya Jnana. Before we go to a place, first of all, we should know where I should go, where I am going. We have to check it in Google or any other map. Without knowing the map, even though you have courage, effort, your effort is useless. Because you have no real idea where you are going to. That is why Buddha says, Janato aham bhikkave passato asvanam kayam vadami no ajanato no apassato. I proclaim the liberation for the people, those who know the path, who see the path. Knowing is the first thing, seeing is the second one. In the very first level, we should know it through our ears. Then, we should reflect on it again and again, according to what we are listening. Although we are listening the real message for the liberation, if we forget it, our knowledge is useless. Not only listening to, but we should reflect on it again and again, whenever we can. We should increase the time, the duration that we reflect on this reality. Again, Buddha says, Bhavanamaya Panya. Bhavanamaya Panya means the wisdom of meditation. By practicing concentration and insight meditation, we should go to be permanent in this understanding. When we concentrate our mind, it is very easy to reflect on this reality, impermanence. When our mind is going here and there, it is very difficult to focus our mind on reality. That is why Buddha says, when we are going to reflect on impermanence, it is very useful to concentrate our mind in a present moment. Using some meditation techniques, samatha meditation techniques, such as breathing meditation, loving kindness meditation. Those are the primary concentration and meditation techniques that we should practice on the path of liberation. When we are going to concentrate our mind, we should have other qualities too. But they are discipline in our speech and behavior. That is also very important. Before we start our meditation, we usually observe 5 precepts. That is the benefits of practicing discipline in our speech and behavior. These 3 things are interrelated. Discipline or virtue, concentration and wisdom. Sila, Samadhi, Panya. The path of liberation, the eightfold path, can be included into these 3 things. Virtue, concentration and wisdom. We can expand it into 5. Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya, the 5 spiritual faculties. Saddha means confidence in the Buddha's enlightenment. Virya means energy. Sati means mindfulness. Samadhi means concentration. Panya means wisdom. Even though there are a lot of doctrines that Buddha has explained, actually finally we have only one quality. When Buddha met some very intelligent persons, Buddha has declared only one thing that they have to practice. Understanding the dependent origination, and it depends on wisdom or panya. We have to practice only impermanence, arising and ceasing of our five aggregates. Even though we have a lot of things in our life, finally our all experience can be included into five aggregates. Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. These five things is our life. That nature of these five things that arising at the moment together and immediately they cease together. If we can reflect on this impermanence, then we have overcome all other defilements, negative thoughts from our mind. Whenever we reflect on impermanence, there are no other defilements, attachment or anger. That is why Buddha says, day by day, we should try to increase the duration of practicing impermanence. Here it is very important to live in the mindfulness. Mindfulness is the field that we practice. So reflecting on impermanence like a game. When we play a game, we should have a field, ground. Ground is like practicing mindfulness, fourfold mindfulness. In other side, Buddha says, living in the ground or mindfulness is like living in the land of the Buddha. Whenever we are away from mindfulness, it means we are away from the land of the Buddha. It means anybody can disturb our peace of mind. Whenever we are in the land of the Buddha, mindfulness, at that moment, nobody can disturb your peace of mind. Buddha says, how we increase our skillfulness. Our skillfulness depends on how far we are in mindfulness. Our skillfulness depends on how far we can face negative thoughts, negative experiences without anger, attachment and delusion. This is the path Buddha has explained to overcome suffering. That is why Buddha says, Sabbassa dukkassa sukham pahanam. Good is the abandoning of all suffering. Good is the cessation of suffering. All Buddhist doctrines focus on getting rid of suffering. Buddha says, actually Buddha explained his message for 45 years. One day Buddha says, in the past and the present, I explain only two things. What they are? Suffering and the cessation of suffering. When we experience something, if our mind is fixed in outside material things or persons, it means we are in suffering. When we experience something outside, if we can reflect on inside, reflecting on impermanence, then we are away from suffering. This is the path of arising and ceasing of suffering. If we are ignorant, we are on the path of suffering. If we are intelligent, we are in opposite side. We are on the path of liberation. Buddha says, as intelligent persons, we were born in this world to realize, discover, and achieve this real liberation. We have no other liberation, freedom. This is the real liberation. Even though we have a lot of children who are well educated, even though we are very rich and well educated, if we don't have this understanding, we have no real inner peace in our mind. That is why, while we are studying, while we are doing our jobs, while we are fulfilling our duties for our relatives and friends, day by day, we should go forward on this path. Then our mind is pure and calm. We always try to live in the present moment, because we know very well, whenever I am away from mindfulness, it means I am in suffering. For that, actually, we should do some primary qualities. We should practice some primary qualities, such as practicing generosity, gratitude, virtue, helping others, compassionate, loving kindness. Those are the primary qualities that we should develop when we go on the path of liberation. The reason is, you meet some good friends who explain the Buddha's message when you have these qualities. If you don't have these qualities, actually, we don't have the message for the liberation. Already, actually, you have those qualities. That is why you are listening this message. On the other side, you have done a lot of merits in your previous lives. That is why you are here. When you are here with this understanding, you are like enlightened persons. Even though you think this message, if you are here, you are like in a heaven. How nice here. This is like a heaven. Actually, we have received these facilities because of our previous merits, good karmas that we have done. If somebody has no this merits, actually they can't come this place. We should not blame others. Why don't you come here? Actually, they are not fortunate to receive this message. You are here because of your merits. Actually, you should understand it. You should be proud of your meritorious deeds that you have done in your previous lives. And also with this satisfactoriness, we should go forward day by day, listening to this message, practicing this message, and getting the results throughout practicing this message. Buddha says, Dhamma is well expounded by the wise. Sanditthiko, visible results. Akaliko, ehipassiko. These are the qualities of the Dhamma. Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. It is visible results and immediately effective. As much as we can practice this message, we can see the results throughout our life. Have you any question in this sermon? Okay, today we discuss very simple stanza. Sometimes we discuss something deeply, but however, for your mental relaxation, I choose a very simple topic, but we can describe it deeply, even though it is a very simple stanza. Some person can explain, if you have a good friend, you have benefits, because always he is near you as a bodyguard. But Buddhism doesn't say like that. We can protect our physical body. It is not difficult. But the important thing is the protection of our mind from negative thoughts. Those are the real enemies. Even though we have a successful safety for our physical body, if our mind is polluted, actually we have no real happiness. Even though we have a lot of problems for our physical body, if our mind is pure, we have no problems. We can live anywhere, even under a tree. That is why Buddhism emphasizes the importance of protection of our mind, not only protection for our physical body. On the other side, tutti sukhaya itarit tharena. Some person can explain this thing. If you have some properties or some wealth at the moment, if you can satisfy with those facilities, it is enough. That is your life. But Buddhism doesn't stop in that level. Not only getting benefits throughout your facilities that already you have, but we should keep our attention in the present moment with mindfulness. That is the deeper level understanding. One day, a prince came to Buddha and asked, Bhante, last night you have slept under a tree, but your face is so pleasant. I slept in a very big, luxurious house. You are happier than I. What is the reason of this situation? Buddha says, I have no regrets about my past. I have no dreams for my future. I am satisfied in the present moment. That is the secret of my presence of my face, Buddha says. Even though some people have a lot of facilities, even though they enjoy with those facilities, actually they have no inner peace. They laugh among the people. When they are alone, they are unhappy. Even though we have a lot of friends and relatives, when they go away, we are alone in the room. Our happiness decides that whether we are happy when we are alone in the room without using devices. That is the place where we can see our real success. Okay, the next one, Punyam Sukham Jivita Sankhyamme. Some persons can say that if you can read your Pimpota, the meritorious books that you have written, your incident of your merits, when you read at the end of your life, you can be happy, someone can explain. But Buddhism doesn't say like that. Every moment we die and born. Every moment our mind ceases again and again. And even though we are happy, end of our life, it is not the real success. Every day, especially in the present moment, we should be happy. If we have done a lot of meritorious deeds, it means always we can be happy. If you have taken care of your parents, if you have helped some homeless persons, if you have offered something to some virtuous persons, When you think those things, your mind is so happy. Your mind is so pure and calm. On the other side, when we practice meritorious deeds throughout listening to Buddha's message, always we think the qualities of the Buddha, the qualities of the Dhamma, the qualities of the noble disciples. Then we are with them. They are our friends. Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, everywhere they are going with us. We are not alone. Because always we think Buddha's qualities. When you think Buddha's qualities, it means Buddha is near us. When you think your mom is near you. When you think your brothers, you are near your brothers, even though physically they are far away. You are with your brothers when you think your brother's qualities. When you think your mom's qualities, you are with your mom even though she has passed away. She is still alive whenever you think about them. They have died. They are dead when you don't think them. Whenever you can think someone, actually they are not dead. The final one, sabbassa dukkhassa sukham pahanam. If we can overcome suffering, getting rid of suffering depends on getting rid of ignorance or delusion. Whenever we are ignorant, whenever we are in delusion, it means we are in suffering. Whenever we can reflect on impermanence, that means we are wise, we have wisdom, then we are away from suffering. In this situation, our real success depends on getting rid of suffering. Getting rid of suffering depends on reflecting on impermanence. Therefore, our highest goal should be that reflecting on impermanence. In this situation, Buddha says, our real skillfulness, proficiency, depends on the duration that we practice, that we reflect on impermanence. Okay, this is the meaning of the stanza that we explained. Again, let's we recite this stanza. This is a very nice stanza. Please try to learn by heart it. Attham hi jātam hi sukha sahaya tutti sukhaya itari tarena punyang sukhang jivita sankayam hi sabbassa dukkhassa sukhang pahanam attam hi jātam hi sukha sahaya tutti sukhaya itari tarena punyang sukhang jivita sankayam hi sabbassa dukkhassa sukhang pahanam attam hi jātam hi sukha sahaya tutti sukhaya itari tarena punyang sukhang jivita sankayam sabbassa dukkhassa sukhang pahanam. Good are friends when need arises. Good is contentment with just what one has. Good is merit when life is at the end. And good is the abandoning of all suffering. This is the meaning of this stanza. Okay, thank you so much for your good attention. Now we are going to transfer the merits that we acquired at the moment by the power of all these meritorious energy. May our departed relatives also receive this spiritual energy. May they develop their lives, and finally may they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed relatives to recite in the Gatha. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these meritorious activities, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits, and may they enhance their spiritual energy. May they keep their eye on you too. May they also attain everlasting happiness. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too. Ākāsaṭṭhā ca bhummaṭṭhā devā nāgā mahiṇ්ඩikā puññantaṃ anumodintvā chiraṃ rakkhantu sāsanam. Ākāsaṭṭhā ca bhummaṭṭhā devā nāgā mahiṇ්ඩikā puññantaṃ anumodintvā chiraṃ rakkhantu desanam. Ākāsaṭṭhā ca bhummaṭṭhā devā nāgā mahiṇ්ඩikā puññantaṃ anumodintvā chiraṃ rakkhantu tvaṃ sadā. By the power of all this spiritual energy, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation. Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca niddukkhaṃ Bhayam pantā ca nibhayam, sokam pantā ca nissokam, hontu sambe pipānino. Dukin pelena sat, dukin midetvā, bien pelena sat, bien eti vetvā. Sovinte venesat somnas vetvā, nitin mehamasat suepat vetvā. Sadhu, sadhu.